Hey everybody, it's Shannon with Case and Crochet. If you're new here, I talk all things crochet, markets, crochet patterns, and yarn. Thank you so much for clicking on my video and joining me to watch today. I am getting ready for a market today. I feel like all of my market videos have some sort of clip of me in my kitchen because I'm always filming early in the morning before the market, and this is the only light that I have on in my house. It's just getting light outside. Let's see. It's 6:30 in the morning. Today's market is a fall food truck festival at a brewery that's about 30 minutes away from me. I haven't done an event here before. It's from 12 to 5 p.m. So obviously the main focus is food trucks, but they're also going to have music and local vendors there. I'm not sure how many local vendors. They didn't release the list of vendors, but they released the list of food trucks. And let's talk about that for a minute. This brewery, I've seen they have a ton of events. They have some events that are vendor focused, but they have other events with food trucks or music that they have vendors at. So I wanted to try it out and see how it is. This is my first year of market, so there is a little experimentation in what I'm applying to and choosing to attend. There are some markets, if you watch my last market recap, I know that that's a well-known local market. I have no idea what to expect today, and I know that local crafters, handmade goods is not the focus of the event. The focus is people are going to come to eat at the food trucks for lunch or an early dinner, and they are going to have vendors there. So the vendor fee, I think, was, you know what? There was no vendor fee for this one. It was free. My expectation is medium because the Facebook event has a lot of people interested in attending, which isn't always a sign that a lot of people are going to be there. I've had events where there's a lot of people attending on Facebook and there's not a lot of people there, and vice versa. I've had ones that there was not a lot of people attending and it was a great event, great foot traffic. But I do think it's something to take into consideration. It is a little cold out. I am in New England in Massachusetts. It's still fall, but it feels like early winter. It's going to be in the low 40s today. And the event goes until 5, and it starts to get dark here around 4:30. So, yeah, we'll see how it is. I have medium expectations here. And the event doesn't start till 12. So I have a busy morning ahead of me. My youngest has gymnastics class, and we usually during that take our oldest to pick up something for breakfast for us all to have afterwards from a local grocery store that has a really yummy bakery. So I have that this morning. Then we'll come home. I'm going to get things packed up, and I'm going to try to leave my house around 9:45 and get there by 10:15 or so. So that's the plan for today. I will take you along as much as possible. I'm predicting that I'm going to be very cold and have cold fingers, but I'm going to try to get as much footage as I can. I think I'm improving there. I don't know how some of you remember to do that. One thing is that I do my Square transactions on my phone, so I can't get interactions with people. So I have an old second phone that I might try to start recording on. It might not be for this market, but maybe in the future. Also, this is my last outside market of the year. I have 2 more markets after this, and they are both indoors. So I'm looking forward to that, not having to bring my tent and my weights and all that sort of stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna stop gabbing along. I'm gonna leave you all here, and we will pick back up together in a little bit. Okay, we did gymnastics, came back home with the kids. I finished packing up the car. Since I had a market last weekend, I left a lot of the stuff in here, but I always take my plushies inside with me. So there wasn't a lot to pack up, which is nice. And now I'm just waiting for my windshield to defrost. If you hear like a whooshing sound in the background, it's the defrost going. And I'm going to head over to the market. Let's see, it's 9:35. It should take me about 30 to 35 minutes to get there. And then we'll start setting up. I have a thick long sleeve on, a sweatshirt. I have my winter boots on. I have a winter jacket. I have hand warmers. Let's hope it's enough. Right now it's 37. It's supposed to warm up to like the 40s and hopefully stay sunny. The sun is out, so that feels really good. I will check back in when I am setting everything up. Okay, just finished unloading. I got to pull my car up right in front, so that's always nice. And then I had to park further away. So I'm going over now to set up. There's gonna be a lot of food trucks, so I worry a little bit about sound quality because there's one here and the generator is so loud. But heading over to set up. The sun is out. It's still cold, but hopefully it'll continue to warm up. Okay, so that's the setup. I'm just walking back up to my car. I have two signs with my company name. Sometimes I put one on the front of my table, but there's not a lot of vendors here, so I decided it wasn't needed. I just did the one on the back of my tent. Woo! Walking up a hill. So one less thing to put in my car later. It's just after 11. The event's supposed to start at 12, and the food trucks are rolling in. Let's see, I can kind of get like a little bit of an aerial view for you guys. So it's down there, it's a brewery. So it's turning out to be a nice day so far. The sun feels really good. And I'm gonna sit down, maybe get some crochet time in before everything starts up. Hopefully you can hear me. I started him this morning and I finished his head at home. And we are just about an hour in. About 30 minutes ago I made my first sale, which was a Maisie duck and a hatching dino. And I only have one hatching dino, which I thought I had more. I have other hatching animals, but that's it so far. More and more people are coming. It's a food truck event, so lots of people are eating and getting here for lunchtime. And yeah, I'll keep checking in as I can. Hi girls, if you have questions about anything, just let me know. Okay, it's 2:30 and I haven't been able to check in because there's been live music and YouTube would copyright me, but things have been going pretty well. It's been pretty steady. I'm working on another hatching animal because I only have one left. Hi, how are you? Good. If you have questions about anything, just let me know. Okay, the music's playing, but you can't really hear what he's singing, so
as I was saying, I'm working on a hatching dino because I sold my hatching dinos. I had won 3 hatching ducks, and I still have the hatching snake. So putting this guy out, it's been going pretty well. We have about an hour and a half-ish left. So I will try to get like a video of the table to show you what things are looking like. Maisie ducks have been really popular. What else? My mini junior bears have been popular. Book buddies, as always. Oh, and also Dutch the Dragon. I sold 2 of those. Yeah, let me get a clip of the table. So obviously this is a food truck festival, so I already ate one. There's an egg roll truck. These are Thanksgiving egg rolls, and has like turkey and stuffing inside. It's so good. All right, a little check-in. It's 3:30. I'm making another dino. The hatching snake sold, but the dino I made hasn't sold yet. And it's been a little slower, but still, you know, sales here and there. I'm working on the egg to go with the dino. I can't remember if I updated this from the last time or not, but I sold 2. Oh no, I did. I told you guys about the Dutch dragons, right? Anyways, it's been going well. I have about an hour and a half left. The sun's starting to go down, so it's getting a little cold. Hi, how are you? If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, it is market recap time. So it starts to get dark where I live. Around like 4:30 is when it hits dusk, and then the event went until 5, and my husband showed up with our kids like right at 4:30 as well, so I didn't get to check in with you again, but that's okay. It started really slowing down towards the end, obviously, but overall it was a great day. I must admit, I was a little skeptical at first, and I didn't share that in my updates because there was other people around me. But when I arrived, there was nothing there. There was like 2 cars in the parking lot. And the organizer said I could get there anytime starting at 10. I think I got there at like 10:10. I saw 2 people setting up their tents, and I was like, oh, where's the event coordinator? And they're like, we don't know. We just decided to start setting up. And I was like, okay. But come to find out, they've done events there before. Like, they seemed friends with the coordinator because she was over talking to them a lot. And I saw like a worker go into the brewery, so I knocked on the door and I was like, oh, is so-and-so here? And he's like, I don't think so, let me call her. And as he was calling her, she pulled up, and I was like, waited for her, and I was like, where do you want me to go? And she's like, anywhere over there. And I was like, okay, so like, is like right there okay? She was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, okay, how close do you want my tent to the tent next to me? It was extremely casual, and I didn't pay a vendor fee for this. I checked and I didn't. So I was getting set up. There were those two other vendors setting up. One more came and went on the opposite end, and there was one more person coming next to me who was actually like a cookie vendor. So she was like part of the food truck thing, but she didn't have a truck. So there was only 4 craft vendors. So I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like. Well, it ended up being a really good day. And I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't have a sale for the first 30 minutes, and I was like, and there wasn't a lot of people there yet, and I was like, okay. The event started at noon. I assume people are going to come for lunch. And then I didn't have another sale after that for another 30 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't pay anything to be here, so I made 2 sales. That's good. But then things started to pick up from there. So what you're really here to listen to is the recap. What sold, what was popular. So let's get into it. So my first sale wasn't until 12:33. So 33 minutes after the market opened, which was fine. As you saw in the clips, I was working on a Ditty Dex, which I got to finish. So I was productive. And my first sale was a hatching dinosaur for $15 and a Maisie duck for $15. So it was a $30 purchase. Then another 30 minutes passed by. And mind you, it was pretty cold. So it's like if you're not like talking and moving, it feels like even colder. But another 30 minutes passed by and a young boy came in my booth and he said, I want your Santa. It's what's his name? I think his name is Jingles is the pattern name. It's by Neutral Knots. I pattern tested him and they bought him for $25. And then from here, it really picks up. So I might not give you timestamps unless they're notable, but pretty much every sale for the next like 2 hours or so was like every 10 minutes, people were coming. So I sold a little alligator that I made from a free pattern. I'll need to link it below. I can't remember the creator's name. I made it the night before. Somebody shared it in my market prep group and I was like, I just want something easy to make. So I feel productive. And they came out really cute and I sold that for $10. And then they brought my giraffe book buddy. It was the BK Crochet Itty Gentry giraffe with the book Giraffes Can't Dance. I didn't take a picture. I was just looking for books that I could pair with things I already had made because I didn't have a lot of time between markets to recover. So it worked out well. They bought that for $35. So that was a $45 purchase. Then I sold one of my hatching ducks for $15. And then shortly after, I sold another hatching duck for $15 and one of my mallard Maisie ducks. So that was a $30 purchase. And then these three ladies were in my booth shopping. One of them mentioned that her friend had just had a baby. So she picked up my mini junior bear that I made like Corduroy the Bear. I used the little bunny fuzzy yarn on him. He was so cute. So she bought that book buddy for $35. And then she bought my junior bear that I made like a white polar bear in a Santa hat for $24. So that was a $59 purchase. I'm looking down because I wrote notes. So let's see. Oh, and then the next purchase was actually from somebody that I met at my market the previous weekend. They had bought the Corduroy Bear book buddy and they reached out to order a Very Hungry Caterpillar book buddy. And they don't live like super close to me. They live like a couple towns away and I let them know I'd be at this event, which was like kind of more in the middle. And they're like, oh, we'll pick up there, no problem. So they got the Very Hungry Caterpillar book buddy for $25. And then they bought one of my gnome ornaments that's from the Garden Gnome Mini Chubby Buddy from the Cozy Stitch for $8. Next, somebody bought one of my hanging plants for $24 and a mini whale from All From Jade for $5. Then a flamingo. It's from Love Knots pattern. That's one of my like summer items that I put out to fill my table. I sold that for $25. Then somebody bought 4 minis for $20. I think she got a mini duck, a mini chicken, and 2 mini whales. Then I sold a white Maisie duck and my periwinkle Dutch the Dragon. Sidebar. Sorry if you hear rumbling. My husband just closed the garage. Before that, this couple came into my booth and they were fawning over my Dutch the Dragons. And they're like, well, like we want it for our bed, but we don't want our dog to eat it, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, we'll be back. All right. So keep that in mind. So these people this is a different couple. They had a little baby. They bought a white Maisie duck and my periwinkle Dutch the Dragon. So that was a $55 purchase. Then somebody else bought a hatching duck for $15. I had 3 hatching ducks. All 3 hatching ducks sold within an hour. So I need to make more hatching ducks. I say that every time since I've been bringing them. Then somebody bought my lime green Milo Monster. That's from Neutral Knots pattern. And that same person bought a purple Maisie duck for $15. That was a $25 purchase. Then my second Very Hungry Caterpillar book buddy sold for $25. And then that couple came back and she said, I cannot stop thinking about this dragon. And it was my green Dutch the Dragon made from this demi pearl. It's like called like sphagum or something. So he was chunky. He was really, really chunky. And so they bought it for $40. And they also bought a mini whale for $5. So it was a $45 purchase. Sold another mini whale for $5, and then somebody bought my hatching snake, and that's from, I keep forgetting her name. It's like KB Crafts and Creations or something. The duck and the snake, they're from the same pattern. They bought the hatching snake and a whale for $5. So it was a $20 purchase. I sold a mini chicken for $5. And then I sold my last Chloe Cal from Love Live collection for $22. And then she also bought this pillow. Well, it's a plushie, but it's like so big. It's almost like a pillow. It was from Crochet with Breeze, like big butterfly pattern. I've had it forever and it sold for $30. It was probably priced a little lower than I should have, but like, again, I've had it forever. But at the same time, it always took up a lot of space on my table. So I sold 2 big Dutch dragons and that big pillow. So I have a lot of work to do, especially like from last weekend to this weekend's market. I didn't have like a lot of huge makes I needed to make. Now I do. And I have another market in 2 weeks. And I have to work on some makes for a holiday shop that's going to be taking place at a farm that I need to drop off on Friday. Guys, I got a lot to do. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Oh, okay. And then things started slowing down a little bit. So that last purchase was at $313. My next purchase wasn't until $345. My booth was still busy with people browsing, and a lot of people that browsed, eventually they were like ate and came back and then shopped. But at $345, someone bought my If You Give a Moose a Muffin book buddy. That was with Moose the Moose from Neutral Knots. So that was $38, and he gave me a $2 tip. He gave me $40. I was going to give him change, and he said, "Keep it. Your work is beautiful." So that's so nice. Then at $346, I sold my dino hatching guy that I made while I was there that you saw was like the green tie-dye one. Yes, it was the green tie-dye one. And then I sold 2 of my chubby penguins. They're $10 each from the Cozy Stitch. I sold my gray baby Bonnie Bunny for $30. A lot of people looked at that. Somebody came back after that woman bought it and was sad it was gone. What can you do? And then I'm going to jump around a little bit. You don't know that this is in order or not, but another purchase I had was for a mini whale for $5, and then for a hatching dino. I was working on the hatching dino. You saw this one too. It was like the burnt red one. And the boy saw the sign for them and he really wanted one, and I had to finish the top. So they bought it before I was even done, and he thought it was really cool that he got to see me make some of it. They went and ate, and then he came back and he got his hatching dino. So they bought a hatching dino for $15 and a whale for $5. And then this mom had 3 kids, and she brought each of her kids into my booth, and she made a purchase at $410, $424, and $441. The market went until 5. So she bought the Give a Mouse a Cookie book buddy for $28. She bought my Grinch by Bridget at Klein's Creations. I forget her username, for $25. And then, so she bought it $410 and $424. The last purchase was unrelated, but so she bought the Give a Mouse a Cookie, the Grinch, and then the Panda Bear book buddy for $30. So she spent $83. She got 2 book buddies and 1 Grinch. So that was a really good purchase. Really generous of her to get something for each of her kids. She was really, really nice. She was so sweet, and her kids were adorable. And then my last purchase of the day was at $441 for one of my chubby penguins from the Cozy Stitch, and for my reindeer dumpling that is from Kayla over at Cluck and Buzz Crochet. It's a free pattern. It should be out by the time this video is out. And that was $10. That was a $20 purchase. So let's talk about bestsellers. Hatching animals, 100%. The ducks always sell first. I was actually making ducks this morning. I need to make 2 for the farm store that I need to drop off at. And then I'm going to try to make 3 for my next market. I have 2 more markets left, but 5 hatching ducks is enough. And I still need to make other hatching animals for my market. Those were definitely a bestseller. The hatching ducks sold quick. I sold 3 hatching ducks, 2 hatching dinos, and 1 hatching snake. So that was 6 hatching animals at $15 each. And then my mini $5 items, those are always a great seller. A lot of people added them on to purchases this time as like a little extra thing, but they're also really great for parents. I wanted to say, like, you can get something out of this basket. So I had all from Jade Hatching Whales. I had one of these like little mini ducks from a free pattern, and then I made like little tiny Mabel chickens. I just kind of like free-handed them. Let's see, and then book buddies. So one book buddy was a pre-order, but other than that, we sold, I'm not going to count that one. I mean, I count that in my total because I was going to prepare 2 Very Hungry Caterpillar book buddies for this market, and I just only did the 2, even though I know one was a pre-order. But other than that, we sold like 4 or 5 other book buddies. So that was a great seller. I think my honorable mention definitely goes to Dutch Dragon. Those are $40 each, and I had 3 and I sold 2 of them. So those were really great. I need to make one more, or I would like to make one more for my market next time, because the way I had them set up standing, I thought looked really nice. Maisie ducks were also very popular. I had white, purple, and mallard ones, and then I had one as a book buddy that didn't sell. I need to make some for the farm store for their holiday shop, and then I want to make some for my next market because those are really popular. They're at like a nice price point at $15, and they're a good size because I make them in the demi pearl. So I think I want to make some yellow, some white. I want to make some mallard, and then I have purple and demi pearl. Maybe I'll make just like plain green ones, just like some funky colors that I have. Let's see. Oh, and mini junior bears. I had 1 individual mini junior bear bought and then 2 as book buddies. So those were really popular too. A lot of people picked up the ones I had on my table and really liked the size of them, but ultimately went with something else, which is fine. And my chubby penguins sold really well. I think, again, they were at the $10 price point and there were a lot of kids. Last weekend, they didn't sell. I only sold 1. This time, I sold out of the rest I had. I think I had 4. So, in total, we had 42 transactions. It was 313 in card, 292 in cash, and 179 in Venmo. And I didn't write down the total. And I don't think I can do that mental math. So I'll put it right here. It's like almost $800 minus the square fees. And then there is no fee for this event. So I think it came out to like my earnings were around like $750, which is great. It was a 5-hour event. My goal is always around $100 an hour, depending on the event itself. Like this one, if I made $500, especially after that first hour, I would have been thrilled. Like I was mentally convincing myself, okay, $500, yeah, that'd be great for this market. And then the first half hour went by, I was like, okay, like, you know, $300 to $400, that's so good. I didn't pay anything to be here. There's not a lot of vendors. It's a food truck festival. It's not a craft show, you know, like people aren't necessarily coming here to shop. I was like, all right, that would be good. But turns out it was great. 2 of the vendors started packing up like right as it started to get dark. I'm glad I didn't, because it starts to get dark around 4, hits dusk around 4:30, then it's dark at 5. And between 4 and 4:41, I made 5 more sales, and those people were already packing up. So like, you never know. And there was still plenty of people there. Sometimes you pack up early because it's dead, but there was still a lot of people there, like getting an early dinner and stuff. And they were gonna have live music inside afterwards. So I'm glad I didn't pack up early. My husband came with my kids, so that meant that he got to help me pack up my car, which was nice. So I was like packed up and heading home by like 5:20, because I started slowly packing up after that last purchase at 4:41. I started taking down my sign and like my empty basket. So I started doing a slow takedown. And then once 5 o'clock hit, finished it up, and we were packed and ready to go. So once again, I have a lot of work to do. I'm so thrilled with how this went. I've gotten a bunch of custom orders in between. I need to have these items ready for the holiday shop to drop off on Friday. And then I have another market, not this weekend, but the weekend after. This weekend, we're having my son's 2nd birthday party. His birthday is actually on Thanksgiving this year. So we have his birthday party, then it's Thanksgiving, and then my market is that Sunday after Thanksgiving. So we have a lot of work to do once again. My next video will be me hustling over these next 2 weeks to get everything done. So stay tuned for that and what I make. I'll be making a lot of bestsellers and sharing with you about them, as well as some new things like those mini alligators. I'm going to make some of those. Those were really popular. And I'm also making some new items for new book buddies I'm going to try out. So stay tuned for that. If you made it this far, comment a dragon emoji at the bottom for the Dutch dragons that sold. A tiny piece of me got a little sad because I love those dragons, but I can always make more, so it's okay. And don't forget to like, comment that dragon, comment anything you want, ask me questions. I love talking to you guys. And don't forget to subscribe. I put up a little poll asking you guys what you wanted the giveaway to be when I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I think we're going to do an Etsy gift card. I'm thinking like a $50 Etsy gift card. So you can buy some patterns. You can buy some holiday gifts if I get there before the holidays. So subscribe. And I will catch you next time.